This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2025 Sprinter fifth wheel. The model number is 3900 DBL. Okay. And this is going to be a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? So, let's start here at the door side rear area. And you can see you have steps going to a second entry door that goes right into the rear bathroom. Let me open that up for us. Here we go. Okay. So you can see you have an easy access to the rear bathroom, so people don't have to run through the trailer. Kids don't have to run through the trailer. Okay. Now this, as we look at this here, this is a quick connect LP fitting to connect an appliance, usually a grill or a griddle, to the LP system. So let's look in here and see what we have. Okay, so we have an outside kitchen with, of course, a refrigerator to start off with. Then we have a griddle. So we got to work both of these here. I only have one free hand, so let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, so this has to be plugged in, of course, to the LP system. So this would be fished down this way, and you can plug it in right where I showed you before. That's how you get gas to the griddle. Okay. You have a 4-point leveling system, automatic leveling system. You can see you have 4 jacks. You have 2 in the rear and then 2 landing gear jacks. Okay. I'll show you where the controls are when we get over to the other side. Okay. And you have 3 awnings. So you have this rear awning, and then you have an awning on this door side slide room, and then you have another one on the front door side wall. And they'll have their power awnings, obviously, and they have LED strips. I'll show you how to operate those also when we get inside. TV signal out plus power. There's a furnace out, obviously. There's a crank for your front landing gear in an emergency. LP tanks, we have 2 30-pounders, one on each side. They're both full. We come around to the front storage. First you see the spare right there. Then there's 1 battery in here. It hasn't been sealed up yet. But you have room for 2 if you want to use 2 batteries, which is, considering you have the solar panel and that sort of thing, a second battery isn't a bad idea. As we look right here, this is your solar controller. Now this is a Victron Energy, and you see that symbol there. You have to download that app from either the Apple or the Android store. And that's your panel, basically. Your phone is your panel. So the first thing you'll do is you look once you make it, when you log on to it, you pick out your device, which will generally be at the top of the list. Then you're going to look, in this case it's on the side here, at that piece of paper, and that's going to have a 6-digit password number on it. And you're going to type that in, and you're going to also you'll save it to your phone if you use that type of app, or you'll write it down so you don't, or memorize it. But that's your 6-digit app to log into your solar controller. So you'll be able to tell everything you need to know and tons more. The first screen is the one I pay attention to. It basically tells you the DC voltage in the trailer system and the amp gain from the sun, how much you're gaining and storing in the battery. Okay. But as you look at it, you'll be able to see there's all different kinds of screens, and it'll tell you history and all kinds of stuff. What type of charging is happening, all kinds of things. So So you get the 6-digit code from that tag on the side. And there's an on and off switch if you want to disconnect the solar panels. This on and off switch is for the batteries here, or battery here. Okay, that is in case you buy a tire monitor. It's pre-wired for a tire monitor. Okay, and just so we know, your 50 amp short cord is here, and your sprayer, your coiled sprayer, is here too. Or you would. It's a quick connect. I'll show you the ports as we get to them. There's one and maybe two of them. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving. This is in case you purchase a portable solar battery charger kit. It's just pre-wired for that. You would plug it in there and point the kit at the sun, the panel at the sun, and charge your battery. That's just a pre-wire. Your other tank is here, of course. Now this is the panel for your leveling system. You turn it on right there. First you look at the voltage, 14.2, which is excellent. This leveling system likes to have full voltage, full DC voltage. So it'll you want it to be 13.5 anywhere in that area, which is pretty much normal while you're operating it. Now there's only two. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can use this, but I'm just going to tell you the two most common. The first one is auto level. So after you pull into the campground, you unhook your tow vehicle, pull it away, you're going to push auto level. It's been auto leveled now, and you can see it's leveled, and the back jacks are down, if you can see that. Okay. Now when you auto level, it remembers the last position it was in before you auto leveled. That's hitch height. So the next most common command is you'll push the down arrow. It says auto hitch, press enter to begin. So if I was to press enter, it'll return the trailer to the exact position it was in before I auto leveled. So you should be able to just pull your tow vehicle right underneath, hook it up, and off you go. So those are the two most common: auto level, and then you can push the down button and access auto hitch height, which would be the second button you would push when you're getting ready to leave. Okay. Now you can level all, which will nosedive the trailer. It won't hurt anything, but you can't have anything underneath the front end of this trailer, or it'll squish it and do damage, because it will nosedive. It'll retract the front gear also. You can operate them independently of each other. Okay. There's a lot you can do, but the most common are auto level and then auto hitch. And like I said, auto hitch is the last position it was in before you auto leveled. It always remembers that. Alrighty. And there's some directions right there, which tells you basically the same thing I just told you. Okay. Just lights in here and pass-through basement storage. So here's your water. These are low points here. You have two black tanks in here because you have two toilets. This is a black tank flush, and this is a black tank flush. This is your city water hookup, okay? And this is where your quick connect sprayer goes. Now, to run it on city water, you look at these 5 different charts here, or drawings here. The center one, city water, is the most common. It would be this one right here. So if you got your hose on there turned on to city water, you're all set. You're all ready to use everything. Now if you're camping someplace that doesn't have city water, you would want to fill your fresh water tank before you leave. So you look at this position, which is this one here, right? So you would still have the hose on here, and you would fill your fresh water tank because you're going to a campsite or someplace that doesn't have city water, so you're taking the water with you. Okay? Then when you get there, you want to go to dry camping mode, which would be, of course, this one here, and then you would turn on your water pump. And then you can pump water out of the tank with your onboard pump. All the plumbing will work as though you have city water. And that goes farther. You can winterize it, you can siphon it out or sanitize it. So you have all those options, okay? Now when it comes to flushing the black tank, you always want to remember, like it says on these stickers, do not use the tank flush valve unless the full-way termination valve is in open position. They're talking about the gate valve, the so-called dump valve. Black dump valve. So you want that open before you turn on the water to these flushes, because you don't want too much pressure to build up. So keep that in mind. That's the most important thing. Just don't have the tank's dump valve open before you turn it on. And of course, cable and TV, or satellite and TV, cable TV hookups. Okay, this is your on-demand water heater. Thing to remember, this is on and off, so that would be off. So when you're in storage or you put it up for the season, whatever, you could shut it off, but that is on. So I'm going to show you using the fresh water tank and the pump how it works. Okay, and of course you can pick out your dump valves and your hookups for your hose as you go along. There's some more back here. Okay, I got to pick up the pace a bit here. So your 50 amp short cord would hook up here. We give you a reducer to reduce it down to a 30. You're pre-wired for a backup camera up there, and you got a hookup for a Lippert telescoping ladder kit if you want to purchase that. You don't get the ladder with it or the camera. It's just like the solar kit in the front. It's pre-wired or it's got a pre-bracketed, I guess you would call it. The reason we want that ladder is because the manufacturer states you should inspect the roof every 90 days. That means you want to look at the roof for damage or leaks. Damage could be caused, let's say, by low branches. So you want to look at that. And you want to check all the sealant to make sure there's no cracking or separation where water could get in, that sort of thing. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years and years, but you still want to inspect it every 90 days or so to make sure that everything's in good shape. Okay, so this is the power converter here. This converts AC to DC power. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so here you have regular circuit breakers, 120 AC like you'd have at home, and they're all labeled. Then the power is converted from 120 AC to 12 volt DC on this side, so you have 12 volt DC fuses, and they're all labeled. So that's where the DC comes from. Everything that can run on DC power in a trailer does. So everything's going to be DC except things that cannot be. Like the air conditioner has to be AC power. The microwave has to be AC power, things like that. Everything else runs on DC. So this is where the DC comes from. So as long as it's also a battery tender, so as long as you're plugged into shore power, it's going to sense how much energy your battery or batteries in the front have and need, and it'll send as many amps necessary to keep them charged. When you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator will charge the battery, and your solar panel will be charging it as it can, depending on the conditions outside, the climate or the weather conditions, the cloud cover, the relationship of the solar panels to the sun, all those factors and more, affect how many amps you're storing in the battery. Okay. Let's see where we go. This is your literature here. GFCI, all the plugs in the trailer, even if it's not a GFCI, if it's a regular looking duplex, it's still wired through one of the GFCIs. So if you're at a regular looking duplex and you lose power, still think GFCI and reset it. Okay, pantry, I'm not going to go over the self-evident stuff. The refrigerator, which is also a 12 volt DC refrigerator. Let me make sure when I say that. Occasionally I get surprised. Alright. Yeah, 12 volt DC, so it runs on 12 volt also. Now this has a safety, what would you call it, a lock. You want to screw this in, up here in this case, and when you're traveling, because you don't want the doors to fly open and get dented. So keep in mind that when you're in transit, you always want to be using that, okay? Okay, so you have a microwave, of course. Has a light and 2-speed fan on it. Your cook, your range, and you got 3 burners. Keep in mind this has a sparker, so you turn this clockwise to light. Okay, and you're just going to set it and spark and light it. I don't know the condition. I don't know if he's got the gas on or what right now. So, but that's all you do. It's that simple. You have a ambient light and an oven light down here. Okay, to light the oven, keep in mind there's a pilot light down here, all the way at the back, and you can see it sparking back there. So you're going to go to the oven knob and you're going to go to the picture of the pilot light. Then you depress it. That's the key thing. Keep it depressed all the time. You light it. Once you see the flame light, you still hold this in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Once you get to that point, you can take your thumb off it, release it, and go to whatever temperature you want. It'll cycle as an oven does. But when you shut it off, obviously the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to light the pilot light each time you use the oven. So you always want to travel with these shut, right? Don't close it till the burners have cooled down, of course. And you know, your TV is a TV. You get a remote with it. This is your Bluetooth device here. So you're just going to use your phone or tablet for your entertainment. And then of course this is a fireplace with a remote, and it's also a space heater. Here, I don't have the remote in front of me, but I have this. So you can see the zeros there. Hopefully you can see them. I don't know if you can or not. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Well, there they are. So that means the fan's not running. If I go farther, it's on low. I can feel the fan kicking out now. And if I go again to high, let's see if we can find it right there. It's high. You can see it in there. So that's the fan's really kicking it. You can change the color of the crystals and the flame and that sort of thing, okay? It's a really good space heater. It runs off campground AC power. So, you know, if it's not that cold out, you don't have to use your limited supply of LP, okay? This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green. If it's not green, get it serviced. It's very important, obviously, so if it's not glowing green, get it serviced. Recliners, okay. Phone charger. We'll go back here. This couch here jackknifes into a bed, or no, it unfolds into a hide-a-bed. It's much better than a jackknife. And then of course this bunk goes up and down. You have another one here. You can go up to the next level. Okay, and you have more storage, and you can also mount a TV on here. You have hookups here for a TV. The back bathroom is all self-evident. There's nothing to really explain. The toilet works like all RV toilets do. You need a dose of chemical in the bowl and at least a gallon of water in the tank before you use it. The tank, I'm talking about the black tank below it. All toilets, RV toilets, sit over a black tank, right? This would be toilet number 2 because it has a, and remember it has a flush, a separate flush for the black. That's this particular black tank. You can use more than a gallon of water. And matter of fact, more is better. Don't use less than a gallon, but you can use more when you're setting it up. Anytime you've dumped the black tank, which you should do when you leave the campground, of course, anytime you do that and you get to the next place you're going to camp, you're going to have to use chemical and at least a gallon of water. More is better. Okay, so you can't use it dry. If you do, it'll get clogged up and it'll just be a mess. Alright, so these are your slide rooms here, your awnings here. You can check all your levels. I don't have to go through them all, but you can check them all. Your water pump is here. We talked about the water pump for pumping water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. That's also used to winterize the trailer. Your lights here. Light switches. This is a remote for your ceiling. So I can just turn it on. And it opens up automatically, as you can see. Okay, and then when I shut it off, it'll close everything down, and you can, just by continuing to hit the on button, you change the speed. It's got 4 speeds. So, okay, your thermostat works like any other thermostat. You just select the mode, and then you can see you can go through the different modes. Push it when you push the button or the knob when you get to the one you want, and push it again for the final selection. It's very simple. Okay. The main bathroom is pretty much the same as the other one. This one has a GFCI. Remember, it's an inverted outlet. The inverted outlet means that you can run a small appliance off the battery if you don't have any AC power. So you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have any AC power, you're running off DC power, battery power, plus solar power. You need to run an electric toothbrush, but you don't have any juice in the battery or anything like that. You can just plug it in and run it. It will run a small AC appliance for a period of time. Nothing big though. Think blender, coffee pot, stuff like that. Same thing goes with this toilet, and this is all self-evident here. Okay, this is the control for the, again, I don't know if he's got the gas turned on, but here we go. We'll turn it on here. So it's set to 150. You can set it to 120 is pretty typical. That's 120 Fahrenheit. So you turn on the, let me see if the pump's on here. It's not, I can hear it dying out here. So the pump, there we go. So there it picks up. So you can see, hopefully you can see, it's trying to light. I don't know if it, oh yeah, it's lighting. So there you go. Now the temperature is climbing, 101, 104, 106, 108. And it will keep climbing until it gets to 120, 111, and stay there. So you get nonstop 120 degree water from any hot water outlet in the trailer. It's that simple. Okay, moving farther. Got limited time. I've only got a half hour to finish. Here's another remote, but it's for the air conditioning. There's, I believe, 3 air conditioners in this trailer, I think. There's at least 2, maybe 3. I shouldn't. I'll let you know before we end here. But also, you know, this is all self-evident. There's storage underneath the bed. But here's your washer dryer, stackable. And there's your water source, and there you have it. Keep in mind that many of these receptacles have the inverter circuit. That just means you can run a very small appliance off DC power if you don't have AC. So there's a second air conditioner, and I think there's a third one. I'm sure there is. Yeah, so 3. I should have known that already. One last thing I just wanted to point out to you is this thing here. You can scan the code and look, but this will it shows you 4G and Wi-Fi. Don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to the public Wi-Fi features. There's also a spot for an antenna on the roof. A router would fit here, and the antenna will go on the roof. So if you scan that, it'll show you the different pre-wire kits, and you can, if you're interested in having better public Wi-Fi for your family, it's a signal booster, that sort of thing. You get much better Wi-Fi, and you don't have to pay anything for the Wi-Fi. Now, if you got or for the public Wi-Fi, but if you got 4G, cellular, whatever, 5G, obviously that costs money. But if you want to have better Wi-Fi for your family, better public Wi-Fi, that's something to look into. That's another pre-wire. Okay? All right. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days? That's very important. Have somebody do that. Very carefully, of course. And right now there's fresh water in the system, no antifreeze. It's all been purged, and it's all set for the summertime. Okay? Thank you very much.